Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome to the back of my RV in my little craft space. I am so happy to see you. Happy Sunday, or happy whatever day it is when you happen to be watching this. It is a bit early for me, maybe you. I don't know what time you're watching this, but it's early for doing a live stream. But I'm so happy to see your little faces. I'm happy to see that some of you were able to make it. And I know chances are, if you're watching, you are probably Midwest, East Coast, or somewhere else in the world. I know my West Coast friends are probably otherwise occupied. So I'm so sorry that I had to schedule the live stream so early in the morning. Than I normally do. I normally have been doing my creative resets. I kind of found that doing it midweek and about 4 p.m. was actually working really well. They were really well attended. It was a nice kind of midweek break, from the work week. It was, I don't know, something fun to look forward to, and it was working. But as I have pointed out to the ladies in the clubhouse, I will just publicly state it here. It is as if I've been joking about how I feel like I have moved to the sun. It is so incredibly hot where I am currently staying here. If any of you have ever spent any time in an RV, in extreme heat, extreme temperatures, you will know RV air conditioning was not meant to combat heat like that. It is not designed for that. Even even at its best, it just isn't. It isn't designed to combat temperatures of like 110, 113, as high as 118 degrees. So it has been taxing, to say the least. Mark and I are we're like little delicate flowers. Apparently, we're not hardy stock. We would not have made it in pioneer times. We would have fainted on the pioneer trail. They would have left us behind. We wouldn't have cut it. Okay. We would have been those guys that they had to leave behind. Me and my books. So, yes. So that is why I have not been able to schedule a live stream since. That why I have been kind of, very quiet. I have been struggling with this heat. I don't know if there's, I asked the question in my community is like, do you guys struggle with heat? Like, is it, some people have seasonal depression. I seem to have the life just sucked out of me, in this heat. I just have no will whatsoever. So I just have no creativity. I have no, I just don't, I've been using a spray bottle on myself or putting on like a wet sundress. And being in front of the fan. So for a good part of the day, because it is just so hot. Imagine living inside an easy bake oven is what I would say, because an RV is just not. It's not like a house. It's not like a house, ladies. So at this point in my life, I'm considering all my life decisions and like, why did we do the RV life? What were we thinking? Honestly, that has been a question I've been asking myself so many times in the last 7 years. So anyway, in this part of California, I did not realize it got this hot. I thought that was really Death Valley temperatures, but apparently it gets that level. It can get that level hot here. So anyhow, that's the last of my complaining. I just wanted to fully explain why I have not been able to schedule afternoon live streams, and how that's kind of put a wrench in my plans for doing things. So we're going to experiment with air conditioning and see what happens in the afternoon. The state of California has kind of gone into business for itself when it comes to energy. And it charges the most exorbitant rates for it. So I'm not sure what we can do, like running air conditioners full blast for hours and see if that will mitigate it. And I can do something in the afternoon and see what happens. So we will stay tuned on that, and we're going to experiment and see what happens. Eventually, I'm thinking we're going to get past like the worst of the heat. It just has just gone on every single day. It's over, it's about 105, 100 and, 100, somewhere between 105 and 110. I'm just, I can't, I was so happy in Washington State. Washington knows how to behave. It's very hospitable there. That's all I'm going to say. I was born and raised in California, but like in San Diego is where I spent a good chunk of my life, and even that there is more hospitable. So anyway, um, I am going to try to work around that because I know that this early in the morning might be a little difficult to do a live stream for some people. Um, and I do like to have as many people live as possible because I know for some people this is fellowship and this is like a really fun thing to be able to talk to each other, and that's what makes the community, that the community. It's what makes the community because so many of you know each other, and it's just so that part is so fun. So I know, but I do know that the majority of you though are the replay club, proud members of the replay club. So having said all that, that is why you were watching me at 9 a.m. West Coast time. So I am really grateful that you're here, and thank you for joining me this morning, or again in the replay club, wherever you are. I am going to be sneaking a couple projects today. I'm going to be creating my own little ad breaks to show you a couple things that we have been working on behind the scenes. So neither of them are ready for the store. One project is going to be on Amazon, and one project is going into our store. And hopefully both of them is the beginning of a series of products. But I wanted to sneak them because I thought that would be fun, and you can give feedback. Specifically on one of them, and I would love to have your feedback actually. So I'm going to be doing that throughout the live stream. I thought that would be fun, kind of make it more exciting, right? Time to take your meds. Alexa, cancel. Thank you. Okay, and then I think that's it. So I'm going to have a few things to sneak to you. And other than that, I have a question pinned in the chat room asking you like what project are you crafting? Are you doing cards with me? Because that's what I will be working on. Today is my secret. Well, it's not a secret anymore, but my little card project. Now, it doesn't have a very exciting title right now, but there is a title for this card project. But I just haven't put all the bells and whistles around it. I haven't kind of framed it out yet because it is going to be part of a initiative. It is something that I have had backburnered for a good 5 years, 6 years. Yeah, a good 6 years. So I do have it in the works, and because I wanted to just do something fun and simple, and those of you who just sometimes feel like you might feel like crafting must be a kind of a bigger project, like a junk journal or something, and sometimes even I don't necessarily have the interest or energy to put behind projects like that. Sometimes it is so nice to think of just crafting something small and sweet, which is why I really loved the Pocket Page series. I loved those little pocket-sized little works of art. And of course, I was always thinking in the back of my mind, that's very much what my little cards were like, is very much like that. I just wasn't prepared to start working on these. But I need to work on these because I need to have enough. I wanted to have enough variety and to be able to showcase them in my workshop. So I need to build up more. I mean, I actually have, I had made more than I probably have made over 150 of these, but I wanted to have different types. And plus, I want some that kind of reflect my style now because it has evolved over time for sure. So that would be another fun thing. Plus, I really want to encourage those of you who often say, I've lost my crafty mojo. I've kind of, don't not been crafting, because that happens a lot to us. Even those of you who feel like you're crafty people or crafters, that sometimes are the craft space, the craft room, the craft desk you have. Sometimes, oddly enough, it's kind of interesting I think if we really thought about it, sometimes your space ends up becoming a catch-all. I don't know if it's like, if we really thought about it, is that like a subconscious way of, is it sabotaging yourself? Is it a subconscious way of kind of like preventing yourself from doing, keep from working on things? But often I see the comments, not just in our community, but in just this creative space in general, where people will often comment that their craft room ends up becoming the catch-all space, the storage space. People will start putting stuff in the room to get rid of it from other areas of their house, like just to get out of sight. And they choose their craft space to do it. Now, think about that for just a second. Like, that is an intentional decision to put it in the space that has been put aside for you to get creative. So it's like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul in a way. You're choosing to have peace in one area of your house. So you're robbing yourself there. Wait, you're robbing your craft room to pay off over here in the other part of your house. And a lot of times we do stuff like that. I think a lot of times people do stuff like that because of company is coming. I know when I look back, oftentimes the most motivated I ever get about straightening up my house and getting everything like really pen perfect has a lot to do with people coming over. And I'm always grateful for it, because that is why I get so motivated, is because I'm going to have company. So then me and Mark do get very, particular about everything. And that often happens where it's like you're just like quickly trying to get things out of the way, and you shove it into the craft space or the craft room or your guest room, which often sometimes is your craft space. So, and then sometimes you're over purchasing because there's so many craft sales, there's so many craft things, and I'll just make a decision about this later, and I'll get to it later, and that all that stuff becomes out of sight, out of mind. And so before long, the space is no longer a functional space, and so it just becomes a place where you can no longer craft or create in. And it becomes a nemesis and a burden rather than a place of peace and self-care and creativity, because that is what creativity is. The exercise of doing that is a place of caring for your little mind and your little soul, because you're doing something that is allowing you to express yourself and try new things. It makes you feel good when you get to see your finished product, like that thing did, like whatever it is that you are working on presently, that by the time we're done with this live stream, whatever you've worked on, that thing did not exist before you got started on it. That page, that pocket, that journal, that whatever it is did not exist. When you go buy a bunch of skeins of yarn, skeins, and your little crochet hook or your knitting needles, like that's just a pile of yarn, but with the magic of your little needles, weaving them all together, it becomes a blanket. It becomes a sweater. That's just think about the magnitude of that and what an amazing thing that is. I'm always amazed when I see the like handiwork like that, crocheted booties and blankets. Like all that was just a bunch of bundles of yarn. That's amazing. That's handiwork. That's skill. That's a craft. That's something that's very and it's soothing. That's why I think why so many women love to knit and crochet, not just because it produces something that often you gift to somebody, but because it is just such a pleasant, soothing occupation. So, I mean, I think it probably one time in history, it was a necessity because you couldn't just open a catalog or go to the store and buy these things. But now it is just this very pleasant, wonderful experience. And because you've honed this skill and know how to do it, it becomes this precious thing that somebody, gets to own and have, like a grandchild or a child. So these are things you want to cherish, these gifts, these talents in the paper crafting sphere. Don't ever, um, what is the word? Take for granted the abilities you have to put paper together, to glue and paste. It might seem silly. Like I tend to joke about it myself, and I will tease about how I'm using my kindergarten skills here, but I do tend to have a self-deprecating sense of humor. That's just like a long term kind of humor I have. But really, in the big sense of things, there is so much skill that comes with that. And these are things like over the course of time that we all get better at things. If you were to look at your earliest work compared to what you've done now, if you've spent time working on things, you glean stuff from watching YouTube, you glean stuff from going to workshops, from buying magazines and books, because a lot of us do that. Those of us who are interested in this, we absorb and go learn more and watch more and want to become better at what we do. Very few people will watch one thing or see one idea and be satisfied with that and never search out anything further and be like, that's it. That's the only idea I will ever apply, and I'm good. That does not happen. If that were true, Pinterest would not exist. That would be it. We've seen one idea and that's it. We love that. That's what makes us visual creators. That's what is inspiring. That's what artists, that's what drives them, is seeing creativity around you, but also gleaning from other artists and creators. So if you were to, be able to look at your work over the course of time, your portfolio, so to speak, you would see, your own skills just improve over time. And it also improves too by the materials we have to work with, which is wonderful. I mean, if you look at the scrapbook world has evolved and developed, we can clearly see the amazing change in the quality of the materials we have to work with, the kinds of tools, the kinds of things that we have at our fingertips now. So all of that to say, that's your little unintentional pep talk of, if you are buried under the rubble of your craft room, or you've covered your desk with stuff, or you have yet to put yourself together a little tote. This little 5-minute craft project that I have introduced, which is not an original idea whatsoever, but I have specifically introduced it just to remind you how simple it is to do a 5-minute craft with the humble index card as your foundation. If you used nothing else, you could just get a pack of index cards. Now, I am recommending you splurge on a better quality of index cards. If your index cards are 50 cents at Walmart, sister, I'm asking you to spend a couple bucks more just so that you will be really happy with your end result, because the 50-cent index card is not like the $2.45 one or the $5 pack. The heavy duty cardstock is the better choice for crafting. It's kind of like the difference between 32-pound paper and 24-pound paper. But I do want to on behalf of 24-pound paper, I do have a sermon on that, though. I have found a place in my heart for the 24-pound paper. I have made peace with it. I have found a place in my heart that has become warm and fuzzy for it. But that is a conversation for later. So anyway, that's the reason why I brought forth the cards, is because I wanted to encourage those of you who, if you don't get to your craft room or your craft space, that's fine. Then it's better that you at least get crafting. Go pick out some supplies, put them in a tote, and sit on the couch and do this. Go sit at the kitchen table and do this. If you never had a craft room or a craft space, then get yourself a little card kit, and now you don't have any excuses. It's a 5-minute craft. 5-minute craft. And this is just going to hone your little skills. It's going to, you're going to impress yourself. I impressed myself using the tiniest little canvas, 2 inches by 3 inches. Yeah. In many cases, I'm talking about half the index card as I was using. Just one card after another. I was on a roll, on fire. And it brought it all up like a geyser, And so if you've been feeling kind of meh or down, or binge watching stuff, or that hasn't been doing it for you, or you have been enjoying binge watching stuff, but you have another, you can fit some crafting in while you do it. This is a great little, very simple, easy thing to do while you do that. Just saying. All right. All right. Okay. We're done. 20 minutes in, and now we're going to finally get crafty. I had visions of getting into this far sooner, but I don't know. I felt I was compelled as okay. Anyway, let's get our crafty on. Okay. So I'm going to switch gears and do a top down camera so you can see my desktop. I can catch you up to speed if you didn't watch the debut the debut of this series, which is all about these crafted cards. Then I'm going to just catch you up to speed. I would recommend you watch the first live stream on this. What did I call it? I forget. It's the live stream before this one. And you can see how I whipped together the cards, how quickly I did it once I started actually crafting. And I believe there's timestamps on it. So you can just jump to where I start crafting, and you can see how I made the base cards. I'm just going to show you that really quick. There's my top down camera. Okay. So let me show you the cards I made. So on camera, I made these 4 cards. Now, how I like to do these cards, let me move my chat room here. Okay. I should have lined up my camera better. I'm so sorry. Okay. So how I like to do my cards in general, is I do tend to make them appropriate for putting quotes on, like some kind of quote of any type. So it could be a verse, a lyric, or a quote from a book, something of that nature. So this one was pretty front and center, but historically they do tend to be on the side like this. So I tend to switch back and forth where I'll put the artwork on the left or the right. So that was how my formula worked in the past, was I was kind of toggling back and forth which side became the dominant side for the writing position. So so here was one of them. This was another. This was another, and then this was the 4th one. And also my other initiative in that series was I was also working on using these 2 collections. We have 2 sticker collections. These are the halvesies. This is the Summer Love halvesies, and this is the Wannacraft halvesies. Then there's 2 full size of each of the honeys. So these are in our shop right now. They are absolutely divine. I'm sorry, my camera seems to be struggling to focus. Not sure why. So I was also making these the star of the show. So I included these as well. That was my intent, and I plan on continuing that trend. I also am bringing some hunks into the situation. Should it warrant it? Maybe I feel like putting a dude on a card. And then these are the release from, I want to say we released these in May. These are the Girl Friday honeys. Also halvesies. I find that halvesies just are such a perfect muse for these particular cards. I just think they are, I don't know. I really wanted to test drive them on this card. So in addition, I also made these cards. These were made from scrapbook paper, not index, but I also showed how quick it was to cut these out using a crop that I made. And I showed how I did that plastic crop. And I made these out of scrapbook paper of varying types. And then these I made from some vintage paper, and these all got glued to the back of a index card. Just because this paper is very thin, and I wanted to make sure it was treated more, like a heavier duty paper. So this is what I achieved on the last live, which, wasn't a short live, but I did want to create sort of a foundation. I'm just going to show you I'm just going to show you comp- a few cards from the past in this little box. I actually have, these are just a few. So I have different styles. This one has a design at the top, but you can see my intent with these was always to have writing space. But I'm going to do some today that are not writing space focused. I have a little box of yearbook photos. I love trying to use the yearbook photos. So fun. I was really focused, I think, when building a lot of them, on color palette. So for me, when I'm building something with these blues and greens, of course, to me, my eye says I need to have a contrast of like the coral is something that really, so a lot of times in the build, it becomes about the colors, pulling colors together. So this was another example of this is like dimensional. There's dimensional stickers. And I think she's also got dimensional. This is a little wooden um, sticker, and she's got little gold stars in her hair. Okay, so that was just an example of some past ones that I have done. So we're going to jump in and do some more. I'm going to pull out these cards. So I might use some that I've previously done. Also, and I want to share a tip with you. I mentioned that I use cards all the time for making myself notes. I put meal plans on these. I put daily tasks on these. I use them all the time when I'm making notes, when I'm reading. So they become a repository. And again, that's part of my project that I'm working on. So that I have crafty and nerdy type of things going on. So, however, in the type of notes where I'm just kind of jotting things down, this was my little note to self for the Bible uh, Field Note Friends project. This is all that, this is the two places where the story of Elijah is contained, for instance. So rather than toss this card and just throw it away, and it's got a blank side, I would put that in a pile and then craft with it. So I would, flip that over and use that for like one of these type of cards where I'm just going to craft a solid picture on it and not necessarily use it for writing. So you can, instead of just, if you can use the backside for writing another messy note, so they're not just, being wasted, having a whole side of it wasted, or you can use it for crafting. Just a little tip, I guess. Okay. Uh, and then I also wanted to point out sometimes I find that it's really helpful if you haven't been crafting for a while. I find that like going back and reviewing some of your previous work that you really like can be like very reinvigorating. So I like looking at my cards I've done, but I also love my little scrap journal. And sometimes I'll look at this and use it as my jump start. So this particular one, I love the color palette. Oh, I love the color palette. I love the black and white contrasted with this and then the little background. So to me, this would be like, oh, can I recreate this? Can I bring in some of these elements again? So like that would be an example of, what is a jump start. This is my grid that kind of started it all, my love of the grids. So this would be another example of how I have come to love these little mini collages. And there's the strips as another thing I love to do, and how bringing those together. So this is what started, me punching lots of squares, cutting up lots of strips, having these at my disposal. So I wanted to see if maybe I could recreate something like that on one of my cards today. So if you find yourself kind of stuck in the like getting started phase because this is still a blank card, it's still a blank page, and sometimes that can feel a little uh, you know, it's not inspiring, or you feel like I don't know where to get started. I'm a not blank page person. I've seen some artists do really cool, fun things, like people who are in the art journal world. Some people will just take a pencil and scribble right over that page, so it is no longer a blank page. And they'll just end up covering everything with paint or other paper, but they just get rid of that anxiety right away by scribbling, just putting something down, so that that is just off the table. It's no longer blank. If you know you're going to cover it all up, that could break the ice for you. Or you could use a jump start. This could be your jump start journal. I always think of that one day I'm going to actually use this as a journal. This is another project that I want to um, turn into a little mini workshop. So that is why I have not written in it, because I wanted to use it as my little example. But for now, it is a wonderful little place to inspire myself. So that is just an example of something you can do to remind yourself of, like, go back and look at some of your work, some of the key things you love, your little recipes, if you will. Take a photo of some of the things you've done that you just love, whether it's the color combination, the patterns you brought together, and then use that as a way of saying, I can recreate that. I can find another way to build upon that. If I had it to do over, I would do it this way. Whatever that is, it can be this little book where you can, jumpstart yourself so you're not starting from a blank page. Okay, so more tips upon your pep talk that nobody asked for. All right, so we're going to start off with a grid. And I'm going to Grids really work well on nice, solid backgrounds. So I'm going to pull out a few of them to see which one will work best. Also, these ones are about 1 inch squares. So I'm probably going to get 2 rows of them, and I'm going to get 2x4 is what I'm going to get on a card like this. So already I can tell. Now, I might get less if I go with this one because I need to accommodate this stripy stripe. So I'm going to see. And I need my glasses. I need my glasses. Okay. So we're going in. That's too boring. Gotta have some kind of honey. Oh, let me see. Gotta have, I gotta have enough color. I like laying down some and then swapping them out as I go along to see if I can improve upon what I originally liked. So I don't know what I will end up really liking. Okay, let me build another one up here because I want to see. I kind of am gravitating more to this one up here. Already I feel like, oh, how cute. She's adorable. Yep. I'm already feeling this one for sure. The colors are doing it for me. The patterns. Okay, now I just need to find, ooh, do I like the little girl or do I like that lady? I like the little girl. Well, it's probably not a little girl because she's got a bridal dress on. So, what is the missing color here? Is it, yeah, it's definitely a coral color. So, my eye is looking for something in the coral family, but I don't feel like it's this. I feel, yeah, it's not that. That one's too, no, she's not enough coral. She's a little more orangey. This one's got more pink in it. That one might work better. Maybe if I swap these around, does that look better? No. This is the part that is so fun and soothing. Okay. So everybody in the chat room, I welcome you. I'm so happy that you're here. I can hear scissors cutting. I can hear knits knitting. Those of you who are not able to craft because you have to do more adulty things like organize or clean, or you're choosing to clean. I'm keeping you company while you do those things. I'm happy that you're here. Okay. Maybe something. Nope, nope, nope. That's definitely not it. Okay. This one is just not it. Okay. I always find that black and white is just needs to be part of every single one. It is just make sure you have black and white in your collection. I'm just not finding the right orangey floral. And there's always gold. That's always a nice choice, but that's not right either. So I might have to go outside this box, literally, and cut myself some for. I just need to find my paper. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is look in one of these little books that I have, these little golden guide books, um, or something in the coral family before I go grab some scrap paper. I want to see if I can find something that is more like graphic-y versus scrappy. Although this is a risk because maybe I punch it and then I don't like it. Is it a risk I want to take? Well, I'm not seeing what I want there, so let me move on to my cactus. See if there's anything. I don't know why I feel like coral is the answer or orange. I think I just saw a place where I must have punched or cut. So I cut something out there before. Ooh, okay. So here's a place where, okay, I am gonna take her chance and I may not like it, but eventually I'll like it somewhere else. Okay, so I'll grab my 1-inch punch and I'm going to punch this. I'm going to do a little bit of an offset punch so that there's a little bit of cream in it. Ooh. Move that around. Move her off to the side. So if you, okay, if you happen to notice, okay, this one didn't get chosen, so I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to mention something. Because I just noticed when putting together like a little collage or a little collection, one thing that I notice here is kind of like a balance where some of the squares have more of like a solid color in their um, composition, and some of these have more white space in them. So, sorry, not more white space, but they include white space. So there's like this one and this one have white space, and she has white space. So, I don't know what to say about this one. I feel like it's kind of neutral. It could go either way. So, and I mention that to say that you could, because there's so much. My eye is saying there's a lot of white here and a lot of white here. This might be an opportunity to kind of mix things up a little bit more and bring more solid, breaking it up a little bit to see, does that help? Does that, and I don't know if it can, because you might have an odd number of, you might need to create more solid. Um, you might need to include more solid. Nope, that does not go there. That's for sure. Um, the green and the greens need to stay far apart. That much I know. So okay, so I really like this together. Or do I like this together more? Okay, so I like that. Let's work on putting a quadrant together. So maybe this little map is something I could replace with something else. Maybe I could get more um, blue out of my map. Then it's got a lot of green. Hmm. There might be no way around this because I have more white than I have solid. And I don't really want to give up. Okay, let me see if I can find a different color to represent this, a different gold. And maybe I won't. Because the problem is if you have too much gold, then it's going to look too much like the back and it won't stand out. Okay, do I like that? Do I like that? Do I like that? I like that better. Okay. Do I like this better? It is hot, but I feel like that this, okay, I do like that. It'll be a little homage to my summer. I okay, let me do one more swap and see. Do I like that more? No. Um, this is clearly becoming more than a 5-minute craft. So don't do not do not do not think that I do not realize that. But it can be whatever you want it to be. You don't need to spend this much painstaking time that I am. But this is what I enjoy. This is the part that I love about doing grid stuff. This is exactly it. What you're watching me do is what I love doing. That's why I love grids and the strips, and I love doing little collages exactly for this. My brain becomes completely engrossed in the hunt for the perfect pieces, for how my eye is like caught up in everything. It's just so engaging to my like to the process. I just love it. I'm gonna go with that. I have changed my mind. I think that's what I like. Okay, so I'm gonna glue this down, and then I'm going to embellish it afterwards. Okay, so we do the first we do the first square. I'm lightly doing the am I lightly doing it? It's kind of a commitment doing the squares because I know that sorry, I'm completely in your in your in your view there, my big head. Okay. I can't tell if that's on um if those are on the right angle because I'm not crafting this straight down. I'm sitting at an angle to it. Okay. Now, one thing you can do, even when you cover your whole card like this, is you can make a word strip. You could just you could put a word strip sticker on it and still have a quote. And I'm just, this is just another way of building a card when you feel like having a little more variety. It doesn't always have to have, your writing on it or something. If you want to build diversity in your little card collection. Another thing I wanted to show you was like not even using the cards at all. I wanted to show you that I wanted to make a card using a one of these, one of the dividers actually, and I'm going to pull it out before I forget. So I bought these vintage cards off of oh, I already had one loose. Off of Etsy. So I love using these two. I usually add my own tab because I love them so much, but I'm going to use a divider and just do that directly on there. Okay. I hate this idea that I have to bend this, but I didn't get enough glue on this one. Oop. Okay. So there's that. And now I'm going to do some embellishing. So I do think I am going to, it is not 2023, 2024. And it is August. No, it is not August. It is July. It is the 21st. I'm going to do the back of the card, not the front. I want to see if there's any life left in this stamp pad, and there is. There. Um, my little bellies. Okay, so So when I say like adding a word strip, I'll give you an example that like you could put a word strip here and like going across like three squares or something like that if you wanted to. Um, I have my little ruffle. The ruffle is because this is beige, like it's the same color. I'm trying to decide if I like that or if it needs to be very different. You know, does it need to be contrast or I feel like I'm going to be using like all the ones I'm going to be making all will have these ruffles because I'm so obsessed with them. I love them so, so much. And that is how I tend to be is once I like something, I use it so much. I use it for everything. Okay, I'm kind of liking that. So I'm thinking about that one. I also just like something really super simple too. There's something to be said for something like that. So I'm leaning that direction. So I'll go with this for a second. And I'm trying to think where is my next embellishment coming from? Oh, these are these say buttons, but I think there's some other pieces in here. Ooh, so these are literal buttons and other little pieces. These have got some dots on them that are an interesting color. So there's this kind of like dark brown, which would be probably the best choice because it's kind of almost like a gray brown. This dark brown would be a really good choice for this because it's so contrasty to the rest. The rest of them I feel like are kind of meh. And then I have these. So there's those ones as well. And I think I also have these green ones. The little ones are my favorite. But I really think the dark ones are kind of cool. The green ones are they're okay, but I definitely think the dark ones are the most dramatic. We also have these little geometric ones, although I feel like these might be a little harder to use. Like maybe I would have to use it on, I don't know, let me see. I don't know. No, I don't. I think in the end, that's really just not going to be enough. I think my instinct to go with the little strip of dots is a good one and something like that. Sometimes the best thing you can do is go for something that's very just more on the simple side because it will make everything else stand out. I don't want to compete too much with what I did. Lisa is asking me if I prefer this. Do not, this is not a preference over the other. It's just that this was in my, it was in my stash. It was something that I purchased when I was in Japan and I did not want it to go to waste. So that's why, because it's already 5 years old. and it works like a dream. It's still performing excellent. So that's why I'm using it, is because I'm using it up. I wanted to make sure I used it. The glue sticks you guys have seen me use. I wouldn't say I've been using these since 2016. These used to go. No, I was putting these little glue sticks by Ranger into the Lister's Gotta List boxes. So that goes back to 2014. So that's how long. These are rebranded to Dilutions, but this is the Ranger glue sticks. So these are still what I recommend. Well, I would say I recommend. I'm not going to say if they're out of your price range or they're, it's stranger budget, you should buy them. But everything I've ever made with these, the dividers, things where I'm gluing things together like a planner divider, things I made back in 2014 that are like 10 years old, those are still solid glued together. This is the stiffest product like to glue things together I've ever used. So I don't know what is in their formula. We have bought hundreds and hundreds of these glue sticks. So I still love this. I think the shape of the glue stick is the reason why I fell in love with it, but the product itself is fantastic. But I have been getting a lot of questions about it because you guys have seen something different in my hand. But that is why I wanted to make sure I used it because I didn't want it to go to waste. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. And it is on. Okay. It is on. It is on the card. All right. So we're going to, no, I put the wrong. There's six of these, and they are it's not really like black. Actually, this isn't really, it is a very unusual color. It is like this charcoal brown is what my eyes tell me I see. So here's the question. Where am I putting them? Do they go across the top like a little row? Do they go down the middle in a little row? Do they go on one of the pieces? I feel like they have to go. Okay, let's just to settle this. They need to go across the top because if they're in the box, then the bottom of the card will never be seen. So that part I know. And I think going across the top is. Oop, does it want to stay down? Okay, do I need my little crafty tweezers? Oh, I might need my crafty tweezers. They're, uh-oh. They're not wanting to stick. Okay. Did I pull those little crafty tweezers out? Okay. I remember, oh wait, this isn't the only thing I have. Maybe the other tool will work better. I remember when you guys were so helpful watching me struggle with these things. Ooh, I just sent it going under into the glue. Oh, my Lanta. Okay, note to self. That was a bad idea. Okay, okay, off with the glue. Oh my goodness. I just pressed a little too hard and covered the top of the button with glue. To the point where I'm afraid I won't be able to get it off because it's like I can see the residue on it. I need okay. Hold please. Okay, give me 1 second. I can't tell if I got it all off or not. And now every time I look at this little thing, it's going to bug me that it has glue on it. Okay, as I was saying, I am very grateful that on one of my live streams, when I was trying to place my stuff, as I'm doing right now, and doing a really bad job of it, somebody recommended that I use, I can't remember if it was these tweezers or the little jewel picker, one of the two. Somebody helped me out because I was on the struggle bus. Because again, I'm not a crafter, so I don't know about all these delicious little tools. But once I know about them, I will use them faithfully. Okay. Wow, these little these little dots, these ones are not very good. I'm not ever seeing these dots like this that are the adhesive is so bad on them, which is kind of surprising. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure these are American crafts, and I have not ever encountered that. Usually their products are really well, I think, well manufactured in terms of like you can have them for a long time, and they pretty I think they're pretty decent. I mean, some things you're going to expect after years, and maybe these are just super old. I just, but I don't know that the adhesive on these are that awesome to begin with. Okay, so I'm trying to get the glue on it without getting it on the little thing. Okay, continuing. I'm almost done. This is the part where you can fast forward me if you're in the replay club. Okay, and one more. All right, all right, all right. Um, where's my pen? There it is. Now, uh, and I got my little tiny attacher because that is always a thing. And I like to do that little doodly border thing. And then some of the doodads. Now, does that look too plain? Is it too plain? Seems a little too plain. What can I do that's not too much? Okay, so I have these, which I have not tried yet. These are rub-on transfers. So they're 49 in Market is the brand. And I bought these from what's its that scrapbook company. They're really Scrapbook.com. Ah, they didn't even give me a little popsicle stick. Oh, do I? I know I must have one because I used one. Let's see. Do I have something? Hopefully, I can use this little pen and it will work. I'm afraid to just do it because I have done it before where I used the whole sheet and then I got part of one on here. So I'm gonna cut one out and do it this way. So this time I'm gonna put it on something and hopefully I will not regret this decision. Putting it on a magazine, I hope that will, is that too? I don't know, I'm trying to decide, is it too much to have everything on one side or this always makes me so nervous because I don't know if I'm gonna get it all off or not. How do you guys feel about rub-ons? Are they, I feel like they're a craft that it's like destined for producing anxiety. Because how do you really know you're getting it off? Like this looks super shiny, so I can't, how do you know it's really off? Okay, it looks a little less shiny now, which I believe is the sign, but yikes. Okay, I'm gonna assume that I've gotten it off. I don't see how. Okay. Um, okay, that made me nervous. Maybe rub-ons are not for me. They take a little bit of the joy out of it. They're a little bit anxiety producing because I think that they look a little awful when you don't get them all off, and then they've left a little bit of their residue behind. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is get some of, let me see, how do I feel about getting some of these little stars? These are so, I just love them so much. It is hot, hot, hot. I love these. I'm working on sort of like doing a like logo rebrand for the Reset Girl. And I I realize how much I love these little doodads so much that I was thinking I think I should incorporate them into the, is that too much? I think that's too much. I think I should incorporate these into my rebrand. Like they should be part of, this needs something. I just need to I need to figure out what. And I think I know what I want to do. I need to find the small, there it is. I have a small square and I have a box called bits. So these are all the little smallest little scraps. And these, sometimes I like putting a scrap, like a box within a box. Makes it look kind of fun like that. But I want to make sure I pick the right one. So I'm gonna do a little shopping here. And sometimes it's about where you punch your paper that gives you like a really fun pattern. And as I punch these out, I'm going to move them to a box that I have of really tiny squares, which, by the way, I have a little box that I forgot that I have them. So maybe I have some in here. So I have a little box of tinier squares like this. And sometimes for fun, I will just punch some little tiny squares and put them in here. And that way I can go shopping when I need like a project like this. And I need to break it up and like add a little extra something there. See what I'm saying? Like already that is helping, visually helping, because that's just kind of like falling flat now that I've added a little more space. That is kind of cool. So I'm already liking this black and white idea. So I'm going to put that one aside. I like that one's not as cool. The one thing I like about this one, which was the word creative, this came from a Simple Stories paper. I think they used that paper in my the Reset Girl line too. This right here, it echoes this little black and white here, so it's really nice. It kind of balances your eye. I think I'm going to go with that one. So I put it off to the side like that, a little offset. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna put all my little baby squares away. So that's one way of if you like squares, which are really fun to build with, and they're really simple. If you like a grid configuration, I like grids. I think grids are a really easy way of crafting. If you feel like you're trying to build craft confidence, grids are simple. And you can make grids out of magazines, photographs, scrapbook paper, all kinds of vintage paper. And like I was doing earlier, they're just really fun to play with, and it's a good practice to see what you like and practice your skill of like getting balance. And then and you can play with different size squares. So there's many different squares based on the punches, which are the easiest way to create them, but you can also make them from photo crops. You can, if you're fine with having little wonky squares, you could just cut them by hand. But then you can kind of build upon them like this, and it's just a super budget friendly way of crafting. You know, that will give you more of like I kind of find like this type of crafting makes me feel like it's a little bit more contemporary or modern. It's like a modern collage, and it's a very simple way of just building a skill set. It's testing different things. It's testing your ability to create balance, harmony, like color, pattern, repetition. There's a lot of design principles that you are actually testing out in this little exercise. So I recommend it. You can get away with using, especially if you're using a size, what is that word? Starts with a C, canvas, the size of a index card. You could get away with two punches. And punches are one of those things that almost always you can find 40% off at a Hobby Lobby, or use one of those 40% off coupons if they still offer them. I haven't shopped there in forever. But this is a 1.5 inch. So that could be to me, punches are such a great investment. I've had these for years. And as well as other shapes that I have. So I will always sing the praises of my punches. I feel like we've pretty much used them. I've used them from the beginning of my TRG path. When I first started doing live streams, I'm pretty sure the Paper Punch Buffet was my first late night crafty club live stream. I'm almost positive that it is. And so I've been very loyal to the punch. And it has never steered me wrong. I can't say enough good things about it. When you are just feeling like you have no inspiration, sometimes it's really hard to work with a lot of abstract or more, coming up with ideas that are a little bit more like, what am I trying to say? Pieces that incorporate like a lot of more abstract ideas, using the die cuts, trying to create a more coordinated look. Sometimes that is very stress inducing. I find it to be, even when I look at some of the pieces that I have here, I kind of look at this and go, how did I arrive at this idea? How did I pull from my supply and come up with this? Not that this is coordinated in any way. I'm not saying that it is. I'll even look at some of the things I've done and think, how did I arrive here? But this never steers me wrong. And I've done grids for years. And I'm just saying to anyone listening who just feels like they're in a crafty drive spell, or lacks crafting confidence, I cannot say enough good things. And when, not if, when I do my crafty confidence workshop, this will be the heart of that. This will be the heart, which for some of you will be like, yeah, I've watched you do that a cajillion times. not learning anything new here, but I'm telling you, you are learning so many design principles in this exercise. And I'm not talking about scrapbooking principles. I'm talking about literally design principles that apply to every field of design, whether that's photography or graphic design, interior design. Design principles it has to do with how we see things, how your eye processes a photo, a picture, a room. There's just so many things about that, because our eyeball sees what it sees. And so, anyway, I might come back to this. So I'm going to just set this one aside. And I think over time, something might come to me. And I can tell looking at this paper, which is part of the experience of this, is also the texture. This kind of reminds me of that paper we used when we were like in kindergarten. Remember that really rough paper where you'd scribble on it with your crayon, and it would be that really textured, I forget what they call it. It even had a name. Didn't it have a name? And then it also had a grid. There was also a grid style paper. It's like a very fibrous paper. That is what this paper is. It's that fibery paper that we used to color on when we were kids in kindergarten, probably first grade, where we drew our little houses, the houses with the family and the little son. We all did that. Okay, so it's very similar to my little index divider, but you can buy these. This is a vintage one, but you can buy them new, and they're also a really fun little element to add into your stock of cards. And so here's this is what I'm shooting for. Now, these are all brand new cards. These are not vintage. I bought a set of like these little rainbow ones. I'm going to warn you now, any of the like rainbowy colored cards you see on Amazon, they are definitely on the thinner side. These will probably make great note cards, but I personally wouldn't say these are craft card worthy. But boy, are they pretty or what? I think they're very pretty. I think they will look great for different reasons. I'm testing them out for different things as part of my little workshop, but I also have these little craft paper cards. Again, they're thinner than I would like, but I think they will also have some function. These are made by Avery. They're kind of an interesting card. They're blue on the edges and they have not a dot, but it's more like a little tiny plus sign. My camera makes it look like a dot, but it's not a dot. Those are actually little teeny tiny little plus signs. So that's another style of card. I wanted to test a bunch of cards. And then I have the heavier duty index card. So this is their little home. And then when I have all my crafted ones, they will all be together. They'll all be a family. I'll pull out some of those. They're just hanging out in there. But they sure are pretty though when they're all hanging out together. Okay, I want to test out this little white acrylic paint pen. So I need to find a purpose for this. And that one box, no, that's not what I meant to say. That one card I have with the dark paper sure seems like a good candidate for it. Aha, I see it. Because it's got this delicious dark background. So I really wanted to have a white paint pen in like a thicker one in my arsenal. I finally had to get myself some of those white gel pens. Wow, the ink in here seems like it's already gone. Like, I don't know how much you actually get, but boy, it already seems like it's empty. I think I'm going to move these. This room gets so hot. We have half of the RV air conditioned and the other half, we just let it go. We just walled off like half of the RV and to keep the cold air in the cold-ish air in the front. So I had to move all my skincare. Anything that was like could remotely be affected by the heat is all moved up into the front of the RV. I might have to move all my gel pens up there. I didn't think about my craft supplies, if they would be affected by the heat or not. Maybe my glue sticks. I don't know. This is making me think. It made me reassess a lot of my skincare, though. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize I had this much skincare. Okay. How are we doing? Okay, Lisa says that she loves Sigma, but it does seem like you don't get a lot of product. Yes. Okay. Because, boy, that looks like I'm about to run out, and I just opened that pen. It is a beloved brand. It does win the white gel pen test for most people that will do like reviews. They really do love it. But yeah, pretty stingy. Okay, so what do I want to do here? I wanted to recreate that. Hopefully, we'll see. Or how am I out on time? It's already almost 10:30. So let's pick out a honey. Honeys are usually a good muse. I got honeys and hunks. So if you were just hearing me, oh, you know what would be a good thing to do? Are you guys ready for my first ad, my first sneak peek? Let's do a sneak peek. Okay, I'm going to do this top down because then you can actually see. Do we want to do sneak peek? I don't want to just, yeah, Ellen, cold-ish. She said, Mark is setting the record. Cold-ish is still 90 degrees in the RV. That's with 2 air conditioners running. We had to buy a separate air conditioner to run, the kind that, you'd use probably in a house or apartment. And so even still, that's still about 90 degrees inside. That's the air conditioned part of the RV. Oh, okay. Like I said, most of you ladies are probably much hardier stock than I am. Okay. All right. We're getting a lot of yeses. That's what I like to hear. Okay. So the first product I want to sneak peek is a product a product line that's going to go onto Amazon. So let me explain. So Amazon has products that you can upload. So you heard that, right? You can upload digital books, journals, and they are essentially print on demand. In other words, they will look like a book. The customer orders the book, Amazon prints the book and delivers it to the customer. So the seller gets a portion of the sale, and the customer doesn't generally even know that the book is print on demand unless they're savvy enough to know what it looks like. And I will give you a little hint. I will show you what a print on demand looks like. So we are taking some of the covers that we've done over the years, and we are we were testing a bunch of different types of journals, and just kind of seeing, I know that there's a plethora. There's tens of thousands of different types of journals on Amazon. So I'm not creating anything groundbreaking, but I will say that there isn't anything on there like my journals, my covers, my artwork. So, that is why I was thinking, like, let's try it. Let's see what happens. So one of the product lines we've been testing our stuff. So we've been uploading it, we've been ordering it, getting it back from Amazon, and then like testing it, looking at it, testing different types of printing, seeing what the quality is like. And we are really, really impressed with what we've been getting. We've had a Crafty Club playbook actually printed to see what that is like. So we had one of I think the spring edition printed from 2020 to see what it was like. So we've been dabbling. So I'm about to show you. So these are all test prints. So they have like a little, like a mark on them. So this would not be present on a product that you got. It says not for resale, because these are all, I forget the word for it. They're a proof. That's what they are. Okay. So here are some of them. This one is probably my favorite. So this is the Crafty Girl Camp Edition. Isn't that so cute? It is a hardback, and it is, let me see if you can see it. It's shiny. So it looks like a total vintage book. Isn't that so cute? And it is like a bullet journal. So it is the dot grid paper inside, and it is numbered. So, and we were testing different darkness and spacing of the dots to see like what we like. So that's why there's different shades in there. So we wanted to see how dark the dots needed to be and that kind of thing. So that is, this is a proof back from them. So that would not be, again, this would not be on the final copy. And then to show you what I was saying, how you can tell when you've purchased a book that comes from a print on demand is, this one's very obvious. I don't think this would be on yours, but it'll say something like this on the back page. It'll tell you where it was printed. A lot of them, if you're a West Coast customer, it'll say printed in Las Vegas. This one was actually printed back in South Carolina, which is kind of unusual. But most of them will say made in the USA, Las Vegas, Nevada, if you're a customer printing in the West Coast. That's what I've noticed. And I've purchased plenty of books that were print on demand, and that's when I would notice, oh, this is a print on demand book. And you would have no idea that's what you're ordering, unless you know to look for the publisher, and it'll say something like creative publishers, independently published. It'll say something, the publisher name will give you the clue that it is. So here's the thing about when Amazon prints it. Amazon does not give you a lot of options. So the quality of the paper, which I know will be the number one thing my community will care about, this paper is not the same kind of paper you get when you buy a bullet journal. The bullet journal paper is a much more, it's a higher quality paper. It's like a little bit more sleek. Like it's got a sleeker finish to it. This paper to me is a little, it's thinner and it feels a little bit more like that notebook that I've been telling you how much I love. It's that Walmart paper. It's probably similar to that Walmart notebook. Now, I have given this a lot of thought and I've thought about it over time and I actually have come to like it. It makes me feel less weird about writing in it. And this is why I was telling you how I've come to start appreciating the lesser paper, which I'm going to talk about in my next ad because it has to do with the other product that I've created. But so that is the downside of the print on demand is the paper quality is not ever going to be as awesome as like this paper. So I know that will be what everyone cares about is so that's really the biggest downside. However, I look at this part, and I go, oh, but my goodness, it depends what you're using it for. I think that will make the difference, but you'd have to see for yourself if, I personally like it. I'm fine with it, but I tested some pens with it. But I want to be completely honest with you because that is something I know that people would care about. So this is not going to be the final cover. We replaced her with one of the honeys from New Chapter, that really cute one with the little pink glasses. So we changed her. She's wearing a little pink suit. We swapped her out with this one. She's got the little pink suit and she is so cute. So we switched her out. So this will be different and we lowered this. So that's another one. This one's paperback and it's also shiny. And then we tested these little small ones. And so this is as thick as Amazon will do it. Is this crazy? That is one chunky monkey. We will not offer one like this. This is like super crazy thick, but that's pretty awesome that they'll like offer it to you that way. So we did change. I did change the title. So now that it says, nevertheless, she stayed focused. So this is more of I think a sweet spot. So it's like a little 6x4, which I think is really cute. And then this is what I wanted to show you. So we wanted to test a different type of bullet journal, which would make it different from everyone else's. So we were testing doing some that had these really kind of like almost a transparent honey printed on the pages that you could kind of write over the top or write around there. So we printed it at different darkness to see like at what point did it become a little too dark, too obnoxious. So we were kind of testing that. So that was one question. I thought maybe you guys, if you wanted to weigh in, is do you like the idea of the transparent honey? Writing over it. I personally don't have a problem writing over it. Like the writing goes right over. And on camera, it does look a little bit lighter than it is in real life. And then it goes even darker. As dark as Mark tested it, I could see writing around it, and that would look like a really cool design, especially if you were doing it like a spread and you started from here and wrote around this way. If you were doing it like a journal, that is an idea. I have a little line here so that you could add the date. So, anyway, I could see some people liking it and some people not liking it. So it gets darker and darker as we go along here. And there are different types of honeys, different styles of doing that page. I personally like this style of, uh, me personally, I like it. I think it's very interesting than the typical way of doing a notebook. It's what I would do with honeys, I would add them. The other fun thing about it is, you can color it in and make them more prominent on your page. They act like a very light outline, and then you could add, color it in yourself. And this is very much the kind of thing that I would do if I was, setting up my own notebook. We also started doing some coloring book pages. You can't really see that one very well. So these are like coloring pages that we did. Mark just tossed them in our book just to see what they would look like. He wanted to test everything. So there's a picture of my washi in the cup. That's from my Instagram page. You can't really, it's hard to see it on camera, which is fine. So those were some tests. Here's another. This one is test. It was just using artwork from my computer. So here's another example. This one's really dark, and you would be writing around it. So like I just wanted to test what it was like to like write on her hair, like right through that gray line, like how much would that bother me or not bother me. It doesn't bother me at all, but I know it would bother other people because we're all really, this to me is too dark. That's too dark. But the gray lines, I think, are that might be too dark though, for the majority of people. Also, we were testing the emojis. So anyway, that was some of our little testing of those. And then I have these little I was testing these. So we were testing the covers. This is the matte, and it has this really nice kind of like one of those, I don't know how to describe it, almost like a rubbery finish to it. And then here's the glossy. So we were kind of wanting to go with these little cute mini books. They kind of remind me of those little mini storybooks that we used to have when we were kids. I feel like they offered them at the grocery store. I remember getting them. They were like little paper books. Um, but they don't sell well on Amazon at all. People are not into these little 6x4s. So I don't really want to put them on there and then they tank. So I'm kind of thinking that I might have to offer them in the larger sizes. So anyway, we wanted to test different things and trying the different styles. And then my goal is not to have just plain journals. I wanted to actually have pages that are designed that are like wellness journals. The pages that I've been putting into my printables that are like having a planner, having a playbook, having um, some of the trackers and stuff that I've actually offered in the membership or offered is designing them to be more simplistic, and more approachable to everybody and not specific to the clubhouse because they're going out to like a broad audience is kind of like that. So more functional books, not just plain journals, because the plain journal market is extremely saturated. But I think that would be at least the artwork on the covers would be more eye catching if I can get eyeballs on them. So those were just some examples of some of the covers that we picked to just test and see what they would be like. And like the paperback style journals, like these I could see using for very simple journaling. This is like such a simple little book. And this type of book I could see using for doing like a harmony handbook, like designing it for, the harmony, putting a specific cover on it for that. Just like Crafty Girl, this could be used for, one of the camp projects, but I wanted to talk more about that in a separate ad. Okay. So let us continue ad over. And thank you for your feedback. Oops, I just hit the microphone. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yikes. Ooh, I can't. Okay, I hit the microphone and oh, there we go. Okay. So let's continue. Did I drop that? Okay, so let's grab a honey. Thank you so much for your attention. And thank you for your feedback. Let's pick a girl. And I always pick the girl based on her outfit. Who's wearing the outfit that would look the best with the card? We got this interesting green, which this blue would look good with. That would be rather harmonious. That green does not look good. The yellow would be okay. The pink does not look good. Mm, mm, I don't know. This black and white one might be okay. The black and white one is okay. I'm not seeing one that's making my heart sing, but let me keep trying. Blue is kind of cool. I like the blue. It's kind of tricky when you already have like a lot of color. I might have to go with one of my Girl Fridays. Because even though these girls, they have to go to the office before, even in the summertime, and then they get off work, and then they can go have fun for the summer, right? Ah, this one got, yikes. She got her poor little outfit. This is one of the, I got a misfit. I always end up with misfits and prototypes. I like her, but her outfit, I cannot handle her outfit. It's way too. She's got a turtleneck on. Just the idea of having a turtleneck in this heat. Gray. Goodness. The color of her dress is pretty too. Do I dare? What if I got her on here and I managed to get that piece added? Okay, I'm going to try it. This is crazy. I've never done this before, but that's a really weird cut, but we're going to try it. Okay. Okay, we're going to try. I'm trimming down. Mark had to kind of change a little bit of the way the honeys are done. They used to be very, they used to have a little bit less bleed around them, but he found that when he switched to these little machines, the smaller machines, he had a lot more trouble with them. They're definitely not as easy to work with. So he would end up with a lot of misfits. And so he had to change the cutting style of the honeys, which means that we have bleed. And some people that does not bother, but I have always tried to cut that bleed off if I can. The Hi Debbie, I see your comment. I should have mentioned this. So we're restricted by what Amazon is willing to print. We can't just pick willy-nilly sizes of things. So they tell us what their size printing is for notebooks and the journals. They'll tell us like, here's what we offer in hardback. Here's what we offer in the soft notebook. And they'll tell us like, here's the paper quality you have as your option for printing. I can choose color printing on the interior. And then of course, color printing is more expensive, but would be necessary with things like the playbook, of course. But other than that, I can't just, I wish we could, that would be great. But yeah, unfortunately we can't. But that's a good question, which was, you know, uh, printing notebooks, in particular, traveler notebook sizes. And when we go to do a project like this, we have to think in terms of like whatever we do has to be to think of it in terms of like offering to a huge market. It's not just offering it to um, our little community in comparison to the big widespread, because we're talking about millions of customers, and you can offer your product to other countries as well. So because it's something that's print on demand, we can say, oh, they can offer this in Canada, or they can offer this in another country. Whoever they say, you can enable it to offer it in whatever those countries are. So it could be Australia, Canada, England, whatever. I was looking at the list of countries. So they get to dictate all of those things and we just get to pick. So, but I have to, when you make all these decisions, you have to think outside just the craft community, or like, how is this going to be received by people that are just picking a notebook for their kid or their sister? How are they going to understand my thought process? Are they going to understand like how this would be used? If they didn't know me and they didn't know my craft community, how will this product be received or understood? So like it totally makes you have to think about everything differently. And I can't just assume that like they're just going to get this. So it is very, very interesting how it works. But when we run the numbers and look at things, the 6x4 notebook in the print on demand does not sell well. I know it sells well if you buy them printed, like Maureen is talking about, the like Hobonichi. So Hobonichi, the Moleskine, the Lectern, those notebooks sell awesome, field notes, because they're manufactured with fantastic quality. They're well-known brands, so people will purchase from them because they know them. But when you're talking about this little notebook that no one knows and is buried under 40,000 listings, they'll never see your little notebook. And it's not very common for people to search for a 6x4 notebook. And that is what we have discovered. It's really interesting what you learn when you start to decide, I'm going to offer these products, and then you realize it's not it's not really what you thought. It's very different when you have your own community, or you're familiar with this type of community, and then you look outside of it and see the buying habits people have outside of your community. So it's given us a lot of thought. I mean, I love the fact that my community might buy it, but then I think that once you have it, that's it. That's a one and done purchase. And obviously you'd want a lot of people to buy that product. So I hope that makes sense. So, but I absolutely would love, if you have feedback or ideas, I absolutely welcome the ideas. I just, I will put them all into the thinker, and if they can be adapted to a wider audience, I absolutely would love to do that. It's just that I want you guys to have all the information that it's not just for our community that we're trying to do this. So here's my one girl, and I'm not, remember, I wasn't trying to put quotes on here. I was trying to do like a full blown thing. Let's see here. What if I had, what if I just had like random strips that were not necessarily anything? One thing that helps, Mark and I were doing some research. One thing that helps the algorithm on Amazon is when you can get reviews. That's why people always ask for reviews of products. So if like the fact that I do have an audience of people, a potential customer base, and say, hey, would you please write a review? That does help get traction. That is like actually the number one way to do it besides like paying for an ad. That can absolutely help. Um, if I uh, had traction like that, I might be able to get um, specific things made, like things that were more for the community. That would be fun. I mean, I would love to do stuff like that. Make notebooks that were for a camp based or a workshop or something like that. That would be so fun. And then uh, you would have something that was all set up for that thing, that project. I haven't seen anyone do stuff like that before on Amazon. That could be really, I don't know, different. I wish we had the means to be able to have things manufactured, because boy, would that make a difference. The quality of a manufactured product is night and day. You get to control so many things. But on the other hand, it is also a big blessing that, Amazon does provide that type of service, and that you have the potential of being able to create passive income, which is what we're really trying hard to do, because we do not live in a environment, we living in an RV, we don't have the opportunity to store product or anything like that, and make an investment in a bunch of product that may or may not sell. So we're very grateful to be able to at least give it a shot doing it print on demand style. I just know that I want you guys to have all the information, because it isn't the same, exact same. But but having said that, I absolutely was impressed with how amazing the products are. When you hold them in your hand, it's like, wow, this is better than I thought they would be. Wow, this one's coming along together pretty fast. So I'm just trying to put together some, like, the colors and patterns. Thank you, Diana. I'm okay. And thank you for all of your support and requests and all the things. I did test out one thing I did test out to the traveler's notebook thing was, these little 6x4s, these did fit in my little pocket. Was it okay? No, it wasn't those. One of the notebooks I was testing out, I was testing it in one of my traveler's notebooks, because I did I did think that that would get requested, and I was trying to figure out like, can I get any of these to coordinate or work with the traveler's notebook? Because I'm pretty sure that would be something that, I mean, I would want to have that if I could. That would be kind of cool. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. That feels a little dull. These feel a little on the dull side. Do I want to move this down here? No, the reason why I'm putting it up here is 'cause how long it is, and I don't want to cut it up. And then I need to put something here that does not feel like it's competing with this green. Um, shoot. Okay. How about that? Okay. I'm gonna go with that. And why is that out? That was gonna get wasted. Okay, so let's go with my strip box. So that one went much faster. I didn't fuss around with that one nearly as much. That would be a more typical, that could be a more typical response of like how fast this could go. That one, look how cool that one is. The little star. But I like that one because it's got color in it more so. Okay, so let's start. I like these. Thank you, Denise. Um, you know what, Debbie, you just reminded me of something. I have some uh traveler's notebooks that I didn't release. I need to hunt those down. They're standard traveler's notebooks. I had them manufactured by Yellow Paper House. They made me, you know, those white covers that they made them specially for me at the time. I don't know if they um offer them now, but at the time they didn't. They like those the craft paper kind, and I requested the white covers. So they manufactured this one for me based on my design, and I don't believe I've ever put them out there. I will have to hunt them down. They are really neat, and I intend to put them together with a little stamp kit. So I'm gonna see what I did with those. I could have sworn I grabbed some from my mom's house and I have some with me. But you just reminded me of that. I will go see if I can find those because I really, really like them. The quality of their stuff was really good. Okay. Um Now I have this. What shall I do? Oh, I know. I have these little gold dots and I wanted to use these up. So I think on here I'm going to do a pattern where they're half on, half off. And also don't let me forget, I'm supposed to be using my white paint pen. Okay. Um, Lisa's asking about the workshop. I'm still building my building my samples for that, which is why I'm doing all of these things, all of these cards. So I will keep you guys, if you're on my newsletter list, okay, probably shouldn't do that directly on the card. If make sure you are on the newsletter, theresetgirl.com. If you go to theresetgirl.com, there is a Happy Mail. Is there still the Happy Mail thing on there? If you're on my newsletter list, that will be announced on the newsletter when I will let you know when I'm when it's in production. And I'll also let you know during these live streams. I will keep you updated when I go into production on that. But these creative resets based on this particular craft is my way of building up cards so that I can photograph them, so that I can talk about them during the workshop, because not everybody will watch these long live streams, let's face it. So this is my way of building my product, which I don't normally do that. That's not something I normally do, but I figured I'm just going to, okay, this is how this works. This isn't the way I thought this would work. Okay, maybe I'm a little afraid to do this now. What if it messes up my card? Okay, let me test this. I thought this was going to make these. Okay, maybe it will. I guess what the problem is that I didn't leave myself a lot of room. And so the newsletter is theresetgirl.com, and I believe if you go there, I think that there is a graphic on the homepage that says Happy Mail. Now I could be wrong, but I thought that there was, unless we took it off. But I would go visit theresetgirl.com and see if there's a little graphic that says Happy Mail, and if you click it, you can sign up for the Happy Mail. The other way is to go in the description box of my YouTube videos. Go to my past live stream. If you go into the description box of this live stream, I believe there is a way to click the newsletter, the sign up for the newsletter in the last couple live streams, including this one too. So that's how you would sign up if you are unsure if you're on it. One moment, please. Give me 1 second. I will be right back. Okay, we're back. Okay. So I didn't plan this as well as I had hoped. Oh, so that's a lot of fun. That's as much fun as I thought it would be, but I did not plan that as well as I had intended to. I meant to give myself all this space to do these little white doodads and everything, and then I didn't. So this dark paper that I chose is not getting its day in the sun here. Okay, let me see. Okay. I need another piece of paper to test. I can't even see. Writing with a white pen on white paper is a little tricky. Can't get. Okay. So now I can't even get my little white pen to work. Well, so the question is, do I have another white pen? Because I should. I bought a 3-pack. Okay. Ooh, this white pen is much more full. This one might be a better white pen. I just can't see. Yikes. There we go. Ooh, that one's very white and vibrant. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that there. I don't know. I managed to get that little cut piece of the dress back right into the spot, and you can't even tell, like it's that flush in there. Okay, and where's my little black pen? I like to do stuff like this and scribble under here. And then I think what I'm going to do is, do I have a stamp? Another stamp? I think I'm going to stampy stamp, stamp a stamp. I'm going to stamp this one. Wow, this little ink pad feels very dry. Of course, it'd help if I stamped on it. That was one messy date stamp. Okay. But good thing I don't mind a messy date stamp. So there feels like it needs to have something like a top. It's like very blah right here in the middle. So, what can I do to add a little pop, pop, it a pop, pop, pop? I need something. Is it that I need? I already have gold on there. I got a lot of stuff going here, but it's not giving me the zing. I need I need something here. So what is the solution? What do I need? Is it to be found in my boxes? Is it washi? Okay, so I'm gonna pull out my washi, and I have different skinny washi, and I have, let me see, I need a washi that's pretty vibrant and eye-catching. So this is kind of this stripy, here's a stripy one, and I don't know if it's gonna like um clash with that or look good with that. So let's test it. Forgot my washi. The reason why this paint pen was bothering me is because it was brand new. I had not used it before, and I wasn't wasn't sure if it was going to coming out or not. I did have the Posca paint pens, but I never used them, and I finally ended up just I think I gave them away, donated them or something because I think uh I think that they got too older. I can't remember what happened. I don't know that I have them anymore. So the white one is all I was interested in. So I just grabbed a cheap one from scrapbook.com when I was placing my order. Okay. Did that help? Does that look better? all it does is it feels like it's it's just repeating that and not in a good way. So, okay, this one right here is one of my favorite washies, and I'm gonna be so sad when it's gone. So, let's see what happens if I put that in there. Does that feel like those stripes are competing? Okay, let's go with a different washi. Okay, let's try a different washi. Maybe I gotta cut down a washi. This washi is so beautiful. I love this one, but it is like I think I'm gonna have to toss it because it won't even come off the roll. I think I tried it on the last live stream and it wouldn't happen. It just would not come off. So, um, uh, I'm not seeing it. And I don't have any other washies to turn to. It's either one of these or nothing. So, what's going on? Anyone watching anything interesting or anybody watching or reading anything interesting? Summer usually brings reading things or watching things. Sometimes you have more time to do things. Nope, nope, nope. I can already tell. I don't know what I was thinking. That is just going to blend. I need to contrast. Contrast. I need a, that needs to have like a bam. And I picked something that was not that. All right. Here's some TRG washi. I don't know. No. Okay. So washi's not the answer. Yes. Ugh. So true. The Arctic, watching cold stuff when it's hot outside. Agreed. Agreed. That is such a good thing to do. I have done that myself. Maybe that's what I need to do. Will myself into a different into a different place. I wish I could do that. I wish I could will myself into a different environment. Okay, how about black and white? The moment that I get this figured out, it's going to be a good thing. I don't know why this is bothering me so much, but I just feel like it's dragging down my whole card. It's And you know what? Even if I have to sacrifice these cute little, see how there's numbers right here, and it kind of is what makes this strip the thing that I wanted to use it for. Even if I have to sacrifice those numbers just to have some like to break up, it just now that I have everything in place, now my eye is just like, it's too bland. It's for some reason it's just dragging everything down. Okay, I don't hate that, but I also don't know if I love it. So it's a question mark. So I'm going to put that off to the side. See this? I just want to show you something. See how this is just a little piece of nonsense? Okay, first of all, my camera, there you go. It is just a little piece of nonsense. It's a little piece of paper that is like from some scrap that from cutting something else. The reason I kept that is because of the color and the fact that it had teeny tiny text on it. Just consider the little pieces that you're tempted to just toss. Consider that they might save you one day. They might be your crafty lifesaver. Okay. Now, I would have gone with maybe a little bit of glitter, but I put these gold foil down, and gold foil and glitter, they do not mix in my opinion. I'm not a fan of that. Debbie says I just watched If for the first time. What is If? Is that a series? Is that a TV show? I'm out of the loop. I don't know. Hi, Shelley. I don't know I don't know what that is. I'm intrigued. Um, okay. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm like a hound dog. I'm like a hound dog. I'm gonna find the right piece. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, let's go a different way. What if we cut it from the bottom and treat it like a little mountain range like this so that like that ain't no mountain high enough so that the piece goes up this way. Huh? Does that look weird? I don't think it looks weird because I think it actually looks like it's almost like two different pieces, like it's splitting the two off. Is that what it looks like to me? What do I think? All right, I'm going to do something extremely controversial. This is a controversial craft decision. Okay. Moving these because there are decisions you make in life that can be. This is a reset. We're having a reset moment. Oh, okay, Debbie. Thank you. Now I know what you're talking about. Now I know what you're talking about. The movie with the imaginary friend movie. Okay. Okay. I am doing this. Yep. I did it. There. I cut that in half. I'm going to put a different paper down. I am doing a reset. I had I had remorse. I had buyer's remorse about that. It just was not working. I'm going to find something else to do there. And every time I look at that card, I will remember that, like, some things can be, some things you can do a redo. Pocket Fever Workshop. See, look, I made a little note. Pocket Fever Workshop. I got workshops. I got workshops. I need to, I feel so. All right. Can you guys, can I ask a favor as a friend, as your crafty friend? I genuinely need some motivation. I've just been feeling so down lately, and I wouldn't ask this of you. Can you please, can you please give me a little help here? Would you sign up for a workshop if I offered a uh if I signed up for like if I offered a crafting confidence workshop? What was this? What did I write down? I just already forgot what it was. No, kind of for no reason. Okay. And if it's not that, and thank you, Allison, if it's not that, tell me what you would sign up for. What could I offer that you would sign up for? And having said that, let me preface this. So, uh, it has to be like a very manageable, smaller type thing, like so like a workshop or a smaller, like a 2 week experience, but the full scale event of like camp is not something I can't do that at this time, like what you guys are used to on that level. I can't pull that off presently, but I have something in mind that I haven't done before that I would like to do, um, that I think you guys will really enjoy. But I also think this is what I've been thinking. I think that it would be, when it comes to camp, I think it would probably be something that people would enjoy more if it was a shorter type of compact event and then you had access to everything like forever. So I haven't been able to do that because we've jumped platforms so many times, but we invested in a lifetime platform. So now whatever I do, whatever workshops, whatever event, whatever I do, will have lifetime access to it. So if you purchase a workshop, if you purchase something, it's camp, whatever uh, you know, product it is, it won't be for a limited time. It would be for, however long you're interested in, accessing it, you have it. Until Mark and I retire from our, our business, you would have it. So that would be that would be the that would be the difference, is that it wouldn't go away on you. So yeah, Bonnie, like a harmony retreat light. So some of the things I've done in the past, they tend to be like, they've been things like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I know the biggest, oh my goodness, the biggest camp reset I ever did was like 10 weeks long in 2020, because I was trying to keep everyone's spirit up, and keep you guys occupied, because that was the summer of everyone having to be, we were kind of doing, what do you call that? Um, we were home. We were social distancing. So I like that much better. Okay. We saved the card. So let's go with my divider. This is the kind of stuff I like, when I don't have to think too hard about my project and I can talk and craft at the same time. Those are like, that's fun to me. Okay. Now I want to do something like a mishmash kind of project, where I do like different sizes maybe. So I'm going to go with a yearbook photo. She looks pleasant. I'm going to go with her. So there's a kind of camp experience I've never offered in a season. I've never offered it in, and I was kind of thinking that could be really fun, because it would prepare us for winter. And then, and it would be working on a product or a project, I should say, that you could then kind of have for the whole 2025 year and kind of work on it. So I've been working my way through that process of like, how would that look? And, you know, it's kind of difficult because here's the, here's, here's how my overthinking brain works is sometimes I kind of I'm not sure with this with you ladies. The I know that planning is one of the things we have in common. Crafting is a common denominator, and I think uh, our our age group is like I'm not quite sure in what capacity that people have for like where they're at in life, how much goal setting or how much stuff they have planning for their life that they really want to do, you know? So then I think that like what kind of um event that I want to do versus what what would be interesting to other people, you know, because I think that's kind of where I get a little stuck in my mind is, you know, what is the thing? Because I know for me, I still struggle with like taking care of myself and health issues. As soon as my mental health starts to decline, it drags everything down with it. And I know that that's probably true for a lot of people. And I personally believe that creativity is definitely a form of self-care, because it helps your mood, it helps your spirits, it's very soothing. And it can be one of the very first things to go. Your creativity can be a very fickle thing. And it is for me, and my planning of events and my coming up with ideas is very much tied to how well I'm doing in creating. And so when it's not doing well, I really struggle, and I question, doubt myself and think maybe I don't really know what anyone cares about or wants to do, and I'm going to plan a party and no one will show up. So then no matter how many times I've done it, I just start to go down the road of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm why I don't know what I'm doing. And so I think I want to do different shapes here, but I'm ending up with a lot of strips again. So I want to do different I want to do different things, but why am I just ending up with shape like the same thing? Let me get some other squares in the mix because it's fun to. So I have, okay, the reason this is difficult is because these yearbook squares are a little bit different shapes. I need to cut this yearbook square down. Uh, Allison, says, I wish we had access to single pass cap videos or sessions. Some of the videos or sessions, and I am thinking of, obviously I'm more familiar with the ones that I have done. I am thinking of some of those as offering some of those in, like quite a few of the ones I did were in like a little series, like maybe part one, part two, part three, something like that. Like I would keep them together, and some of them were like working on for instance, working on a junk journal. I know I did one called Pocket Fever, that little series. I know if you guys recall, there was the Junk Journal Jamboree. So some of those, I think that we're going to try to gather them up and then release them. And then you'd have access to them again, like forever, that kind of thing. So some of those that you would you would get your wish. Because that would be. I'm trying to think. Um, I'd have to look through everything to see what makes sense. Okay, so how about a row of squares and I have tried to do that in the past where I have tried to, to have people show up, but it's hard to coordinate that with time zones and there's times where depending on the season that just hasn't happened where I had one season where I just didn't get a lot of attendance for on things because people can always, do the replay club. So unless there's a kind of like a project to work on, like what we're doing right now, to me, camp has to have this special quality to it, or it's not really camp. And I feel like a project has to be involved in it. So there has to be a compelling reason to charge money for something. I feel like I don't have the right to just, just charge you money because I called something camp. So I try to think through the like, what am I charging you for? What am I, what are you getting out of this? So there's a lot of thought process and like, how am I building this experience and what are you getting? And I do have new things. I have like new bells and whistles behind the scenes that you guys haven't seen yet, that we kind of invested in to take everything in our new direction with TRG and reestablishing our adventures. I want to bring back all of our fun little adventures that we spent so much time doing in the past. It's kind of what made this brand so different and fun and it definitely helped me in a lot of ways. So, okay, this is a really cute one. It says awesome, fun. I'm going to cut this one. Cut it like a boss. Ooh. Okay. Oh, goodness. All right. Okay. So there's that one. That's got a different little mishmash of shapes. And indeed, Miss Lisa, it is the whole pivot. Pivot. Um, she says pivoting as an entrepreneur can be exhaustive but necessary. It is very true because burnout is a real thing and it's really hard, to figure out what to do. And when you're a one woman band and it is taxing, but we're trying to do things in a way that it is sustainable for me to do things, and also to create a model that doesn't rely just on TRG, which is why we're trying to do this like experiment with the Amazon thing and try and build stuff that doesn't have to do with, just me doing stuff on this platform. yes, getting traction, by saying, "Hey guys, I made notebooks," is great, but um, so there's a lot of little pieces, going into things, and it can be very convoluted. And I don't think that's helped by the fact that I'm definitely an overthinker, and I care about like what I'm offering and selling, and because when you put a price tag on things, that very much alters stuff, because I get very, I don't know, it's very uncomfortable to put a price tag on your ideas. I think a lot of people would agree with that. A lot of creatives are kind of like, oh, it's great to just talk about creative stuff, but as soon as you try to, want to sell it, it's very hard to say, this is what my ideas are worth. And that takes a long time for some people to feel um, worthy, I guess, or confident. Okay. All right. So this show today is brought to you by the letter G for grid, because when in doubt, a grid can be your best friend. Your best friend. Grid and collages. I just feel like they're so fun and easy, and I never get tired of them. And even if I use the same paper in them over and over again, it's the combination of the paper that I use each time can be different. I'm going to trim this one down. Uh, that makes each one unique. And then the fun part is this part. So I'm going to bump up this one with a little extra, I think, possibly, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So here's what's fun, and this was unexpected. So if you look at this one here, there is this white square in this blue box. So I just grabbed this just because I like this color, but I'm going to mirror this over here. And that was very unintentional. I just happened to grab it, but now I notice that it's it's balancing that out. It's sort of echoing that on that side. Okay, so I got that there. And now back to our little strippy strips. And I want to see if there um, is there a reason to use like one of these? No. So just to explain why, that right there is a direct competition with the really epic and awesome text that I chose down here. So I don't want to compete with that. So I would put something on here that is more solid and simple. So it could be something more designy like this, like a ruffle, and just on part of it. So the dimensional aspect of this ruffle is really neat. Okay. There's that. Um, Now I don't want to compete with her by putting a honey on this because I already technically have a honey. So Um, where's my stickers? I was looking right at them. Okay, so I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna grab, oop, I'm gonna grab one of these and see if there's any purpose for it. Sometimes I don't know why. Um, when I lay something down on here, I look up at the monitor and not really at the card itself. No idea why. It's like the final look, I can only see if it is in the monitor. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure if oop, they jumped off the page at me. I'm not sure if I love these or not. I'm going to keep testing. Okay. I'm probably better off just writing on this at this point. This one needs something though. I don't know what it needs. It needs something. I don't want to put, what do I want to put on there? I love these doodads so much. I don't want to put it on there. How about I put a little, where's that box? Oh, wait. So I have these teeny tiny little ones in here. The little tiniest. I wish they had just, you could buy just like a box, a sheet of tiny ones. But they usually have them in like little strips of like big to small is normally how they do it. I really like the white ones. Grab this one, see what colors I have on here. Here's some white ones. They're kind of like a pearl though. They're not solid white. Not sure if I like that. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is just use my white pen instead. Ah, okay. That's a mess. Fix that later. Okay, here's where I'm going to pull out my little paint pen. And then I'm just adding this little dot pattern and a little, where's those scary rub-ons? There's so much stuff on my desk. Let me get rid of these little notebooks. Okay. So the next thing I'm gonna sneak peek is something that I was thinking of using as kind of like a camp-ish, a camp-ish product-y thing, which I will show you on my next little break, which will be coming up shortly, as soon as I get this one finished. Okay, so I think I'm gonna snip this again. I'm just trying to figure out how to snip it. Like, where do I snip it? I'm gonna put it on this yellow one to add. Okay. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this when it comes to rub-ons, if you should like cut things ahead of time or try not to do that. I don't know what the right. Okay, so I have it in place. I'm gonna I'll use this. Okay, I think it came off. All right. I probably should have had it come all the way to the edge, huh? So I will fix that. I will just draw it on. Then I like adding these little offset squares to a couple of them. And then okay, so I think what I want to do is I want to add something to her. Is this the pen that does work or doesn't work? That's the pen that doesn't work. Let's get that out of here. So I'm adding a little ring of white dots around her head. Actually, let's take it all the way down. That looks kind of cool. And then I'm going to do this. Okay. I'm going to make something for the tab. I can't think of anything. I've got nothing. So I'm just going to say today. This is what I made today. And cut. And cut. Yes. I agree. Crafting with the office products has always been my favorite. I think that's why when I first started crafting it was in the planner. Because that felt like such a safe place to craft, because a planner is just basically full of grids. It's full of spaces, like a puzzle. And it was like, oh, this is like, you just fill in the little square. It's like, it's just so easy. And then it was a place to use all the things I love, which is, my little office supplies, which we all loved the office supplies. Okay, so here are my little cards. I feel like I should get, what time is it? It is, wow, again, almost 3 hours. Okay, so let me stop. I didn't get as far today as I got before, but I was doing probably more chatting than normal. Is that possible? I don't know. Okay, so another ad break. Let me show you the next little product that I am sneak peeking. Wow, my ice, this whole thing was full of ice, and now it's like almost all melted. Okay, here we go. So I designed these little pages to help me. Okay, I have to explain it to you. I designed these little pages to help me. I don't know how you guys feel, but I know my life looks a little different than a lot of people because I work from home and I'm sort of in charge of my own time, but I am very disorganized. I have become very disorganized, and I have a hard time staying on track and focused. So I have been trying hard to stay, I want to stay, I want to keep to my morning routine and stay off of a device for a focused time in the morning, and have something that is analog that will recenter me and refocus me when I need it. I do have some of my planning is on let's say it's on a planner, like a digital planner, using like Google software. But I don't want to have to look at that in the morning to know what I'm doing, because it's so easy to head off into a rabbit hole, as everybody knows, because there will be a pop-up or something that will distract. And I just do not want to be on my computer. So with that in mind, I tried to make myself something that when I would come in here, the whole point would be to just have this. I just have a piece of paper to look at, but I wanted a pretty piece of paper. So I came up with what I'm calling my daily dashboard. So I pre-filled it in with what I wanted it to say. So this is like a dashboard that is just to refocus me. It's just to get me back on track. And there was one for each day. Now I just made my set. I made it for my work week. So, and I based it on myself. So I would tweak this when I put it into the shop, and it's Girl Friday edition. So I plan on, if this is interesting to people, I wanted to test it out. But if it was interesting to people, I wanted it to have I wanted different themes, like harmony. I wanted a harmony version. I wanted a meaningful version for the fall. So there's so many different collections we've released that I could do a version of this. So I could even have a version for like your spa day, like your little retreat day for yourself, is to remind yourself, because it's so easy to be distracted. Mom, what are we having for lunch? Honey, can you help me find the fill in the blank? And before you know it, you're folding socks, or you're doing something that you didn't even intend to do, or you answered the phone and then you forget what you were doing because you have senior brain or mom brain, and then you're doing something that you never intended to do. Like your finish list, the things that you actually accomplished that day may look nothing like your to-do list. How many times does that happen? We are hijacked all the time. So this is your daily dashboard, and you create this the night before. And this is for your time, whatever time you've set aside for you. This is to recenter you. It's your home base. Come back, Cori. Come back, Bethany. Come back, Michelle. Come back, Deborah. come back, fill in the blank. This is to remind you, come back. This is what you said you're going to do. Now, this little spot right here, it says my list and it says pay yourself first. I was listening to a webinar, and the lady that was running it, she runs a membership for artists and creatives. And it's for people who are self-employed and they have to kind of manage your own time. And managing your own time is the hardest thing I think I've had to do, because it's not like when you're part of a company and your time is controlled by the rhythm of the company's initiatives and meetings and all of that. It's so much harder when you're in charge of it. So she had this saying, and she said, you need to pay yourself first. And what she meant was time. So when you start your day, you pay yourself first. Your precious time is the currency you have. So whatever is most important to you, whatever will ignite your passion, your creativity, the thing that's going to fuel you for the day, whatever that is, it could be money making, it could be going for a walk, it could be whatever it is that you prioritize. That's what you put on this list. So I put down 3 things. It could be one thing for me personally. It could be whatever that is. I just gave myself 3 slots for it. But that's the pay yourself first. So whatever that is, that's the thing that you prioritize that day is you. It's all about me. So, and the rest of it is your finish list. So everything else is the everything else. So the stuff that must be finished, It's not that it would it would be great if it could, if it could happen, but it's the must be. And, so there's this. And then I have 2 spots here. This is just like, I tend to jot things on sticky notes, but I don't want to do that. I want to have a dedicated spot just to jot something down. If it's just a quick thought, just something that belongs to today. So I just wanted to test that out. See, does that work? Just to have a quick place, because I'd rather put it here than a sticky note. And then have something. This little today spot was just to have a little coaching moment, to put a little reminder to myself, to have a little. I've been collecting a lot of quotes lately from my index card project, so that would just be a little reminder as I'm trying to encourage myself and talk nicer to myself. And then this little pledge to myself, which you could use for the same purpose or a different purpose. I have this little pledge to myself about my health and how I need to eat, what I need to prioritize in my choices that day. So that's what I'm using this for. You could reverse this, whatever you wanted to do with your spots. This is just how I'm doing it. And then I have 2 places here. So this is my morning routine, and then I'm calling it my ease into the evening routine. So this can look different for you. Your morning routine is whatever it is, whether that's you going, you have to leave to go to work, you still have a morning routine before you leave to do that. And your ease into the evening, there's still a routine that you have to do that. So whatever it is that you do to wind down, if you want to add a new habit into that helps you prioritize your sleep. So you now need to do something that helps you get better rest, because all of us at our age now, restful sleep, a relaxed and calmer evening to get into better sleep. Sleep is the greatest thing we can do for our bodies that affects every little system in our body is affected by better sleep, whether that's digestion, cognitive abilities. There can't be enough better things said about good sleep. So whatever that is, your ease into the evening routine could be something you add in there to help you develop a habit for that. I'm just using that as an example. So I added that. So I started using a couple apps that I really, really love that I've been adding in there. And then I have this face yoga app that I have been loving. I was really dedicated to using it, but ever since I've been sitting in the front room and my whole routines are all off because this whole heat thing has just thrown everything off. I feel like it's just, ah. So this is what it looked like before that all happened. So anyway, so this is all set up. So every day has its own little dashboard. So I really like, you can print one for each day that you need, or, you know, it's just to have so that you have a reminder. And I deliberately designed it so it was set up like a full little place setting. I like to use mine on a clipboard, but you can absolutely incorporate it. Ooh, incorporate it into your daily, like it's a full size, into your discbound planner if you wanted to. So, but I like it. It works better, and the function of it was meant to be like this. What do you call it? A landscape kind of layout. So, and then you could toss this when you were done. So it wasn't meant to turn over and write on the back side. This was meant to just sit here like this. So that is the other little product that I have coming. I just need to create one that is for the community and doesn't have all my stuff on it. And I probably will add a Saturday and Sunday to it. I wasn't going to because that one was really designed for the work week, but I guess I'll probably just keep them all the same and they'll all have the same amount of days in them. So I'm just going to kick it off with the Girl Friday theme and throw them into the store. So I will be sending that out in the newsletter when the set is ready. And I will also post it in the clubhouse, and I will let you know in the next live stream when it is ready. Well, by the time I do my next live stream, it will definitely have been ready, and I will be sharing the final product. So those are the daily dashboards. So I really, really like them. And so you can try it out and see if it works for you, if you find it to be helpful. I just really felt like I needed something that was just like, I just need something to have like literally a dashboard for my day that does not tie me to a computer or a device that is just analog. Remember the good old days? Like there's something to be said. I know technology has really been a blessing in so many ways, but it also has just really opened up so many challenges when it comes to our attention spans and overwhelm of information and being able to focus on things. And sometimes too much can be too much of a good thing. So I just really like having it back to just something very simple. And they're printables, Miss Rachel. They are a set of printables. So you'll be able to print what you need as you need it. So if you don't find yourself needing a Saturday and Sunday because you really do just use it on the work week, then you can print as needed. So if they sell well, if people seem to, be using them, then I will make more in other themes. I would like to make one that is more of like a spa or harmony retreat style, because I think that would be fun for you to have, like plan your retreat day. And it's like a little menu that you've created for yourself where you're like, here's my retreat day. This is what I'm doing. And you've laid it all out for yourself. Now, how this ties to camp. So I mentioned that earlier about a product that was going to tie to camp. So I was thinking about creating a version of this that would tie to a camp experience where they were sort of built for camp so that you could plot out your camp days, whatever that looked like for you. So if we had a 2-week camp experience, you were filling them out and saying, this is how I'm going to have my camp experience. And you planned it and you committed to this to yourself, whatever that was. And maybe, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, this is what I'm doing on these days. These are my camp days. Because I can't come to your house and force you to do camp. Never could be able to do that. Although I wished I could. There's been times that I wished I could. But something like that, and they're all themed for camp. Like, I think that would be so cute. And, because, camp is sort of like on your own time, whenever you were able to do your activities or whatever, it would be, just another fun way of having that little experience and making you feel like you're sort of creating your little menu of, what you're going to do from the little adventure you're on. So that was what I was thinking. And speaking of which, I did go through my camp stuff. So here is a couple of other covers. I have a lot of covers. So I went through I happen to have these. This was all my notes. This was all the planning that I did for Camp Reset 2018. This was the cover for it, and this was, if you guys recall, this was that book. And I was looking through this, I didn't earn very many badges, did I? And I was looking through this, trying to decide like how I could adapt this to a kind of like, a condensed, do it on your own kind of thing, and then have a couple live streams to have a together, together. Let's join together and let's get together. Yay, yay, yay. So here was our little calendar. And so I had all the printables because I try to keep an archive of our experiences together. So there was our little happy camper. And I think this is the one with the pledge. Do you remember this? The little pledge card, pledge to myself. So I'm trying to figure out, trying to get this little model together of like, how could this look? So we have these very approachable, doable experiences so that you can have more, I can produce more experiences more often that are unique and different. They have different themes, and then you have something to look forward to. Here's your habit cards. You guys remember these? So this is kind of what I wanted to kind of like aim for, work towards, is these kind of fun adventures, offer these as something that you have to do through the Reset Girl. So yes, I asked Mark to gather me covers, all the covers we have. And these are not even all the covers. I realized afterwards that, like, hey, there's some missing. So we actually have a lot of covers in our little arsenal. These are ones that we offered over the years, whether that was through a collection or some that we just offered separately, on our own. So this was like Retreat Magazine. That was one of the camp themes, was retreat. There's meaningful. I think this one looks so much like a coloring book cover. So anyway, yeah. So that is what I am working on and here's the planner, is working on a planner. So I had one planner in 2021. So I'm kind of taking the best elements of that planner and kind of mushing it into, this is a planner that I had this made for me. And it has this layout in it. And so I am mushing these two planners. Actually, it is very similar to the Faithful. So that was my original planner in 2018. It was moved into this type of planner. So I'm kind of wanting to create a planner for 2024, but I better get on that if I'm going to offer it. So there is, there's much to be done, and I just need to motivate myself because it's really hard to do that when it feels like a million degrees in your house and your brain is cooking and it doesn't feel like processing. Ugh. Okay, I've done a lot of whining on this live stream, and I apologize for that. I'm so sorry. Um, so anyway, I've done 3. I really thought I was going to do 4, but I had ads that I needed to do. I have advertisers I must appease. And we are over the 3 hour. We've had a 3 hour tour. So 1 card per hour. I don't know. Is that an impressive thumbnail? So maybe what I'll do is I will just do another card off camera, whip it up together, and then throw it on the thumbnail. The other thing I do, just FYI, with these cards is these cards also become the Lucky Dip. It's called the Lucky Dip, which is it's the British version of the Cracker Jack prize the cool Cracker Jack prize we used to get as kids. Man, that prize is not the same as it was when we were children. But in British speak, it is called a Lucky Dip. And so that is what I offer in the clubhouse is people who opt in at the pillar membership level. Every month they get a special printable from me, and I have been giving them these. So they get whatever I make in this live stream. So they got the full set of the last set of cards, and they will get this set. So I think I'm going to do this off camera, so it will be a surprise to our pillar members. And so pillar members, behold, your lucky dips. I'm trying to remember. I think it's easier if you don't have the tabs on these, because I know cutting out the cards with that tab attached, I think is very challenging because it's rounded. I think you'll find out when you try to cut this out of the thing. I'm pretty sure when I've done it, it's a little challenging. So I kind of forgot about that. But isn't I think that's beautiful. That's just like all the colors and stuff together is yummy. So this will be your surprise. And then the rest of it, you've watched them come to life. You watched me struggle, the agony, the victory and the agony of bringing them to life. And hopefully you love them. I know I do. And I care very much about putting my little heart into them, because I very much appreciate you supporting that membership, supporting me. So thank you. And thank you guys for hanging out and making it all the way to this 3-hour live. They're not always meant to be 3 hours, for the record. I always hope, like, I'm going to get it to 2. 2 hours is a reasonable amount of time. However, we definitely had we've had a setback, and so we were kind of overdue for a live stream. I should have had one earlier in the month. So I'm sorry that I would like to have a live stream. My goal was actually to have a live stream every week. That actually is a goal. So then it was every other week, and then that heat wave came. So I'm going to shoot for every other week. Like I said at the beginning, we're going to test the air conditioning and see if it's possible to try to edge it a little later in the day, so it's possible for more people to attend and not have it so early in the morning. So I'm going to give it another try and see what happens at 4:00. We're going to try to run the air conditioning in here full force earlier in the day to see cooling it down and see if that is possible and that I won't pass out. I'm just kidding. But it could happen. There you go. See, Kelly, you and I are birds of a feather. It's just like there's so much to chat about. It just time gets away from us. You notice I have no watch on. Deliberately came in here watchless. So thank you. And thank you for all of the lovely compliments about the covers and the products that I sneak peeked today. And, you girls are the bomb. Thank you for the input on, any, my workshop, questions. If you want to leave, replay club, please leave any feedback you have on the notebooks I shared, what your thoughts are. If you love the honeys, the transparent honeys, if you love that idea, if if you, hate them, that's totally fine. I understand. They're not for everybody. It's definitely mixed. I have not ever bought a notebook that had anything like this in there, but if I knew it was in there, and of course, I would show people it was in there. If I knew it was in there, I'd be like, I kind of like that. But I would make sure it is on I'm trying to find one now. I would make sure it's on a low setting so that there is, you can write over it and it wouldn't be obnoxious. Cause I think that's probably, there is one right here. I think that's really the best compromise is the ones that you can write over because they're not, they're more, I think it's more tasteful. Not tasteful. It's less distracting. That's probably the best. This is not the right one. I can't seem to find the one that is the best example. So anyway, so I asked for that. I asked for workshop input and the daily dashboards. Do those look intriguing to you? So Replay Club, please sound off in the comments. Let me know. And we'll see each other in the next live stream. I'm so happy that you made it this far, that you're hearing me. I hope the rest of you ladies in the live stream comments, thank you very much for joining me live. I apologize to everybody that was not able to join me live because I scheduled it so early. I'm sorry for that. I appreciate your understanding. And it was actually quite doable. It's not painful. I can feel the heat radiating off the window. So I will be moseying up to the front of the RV now. So I love your little faces, you guys. Ooh, doesn't that look delicious? Lots of eye candy here. I love your little faces, and parting is such sweet sorrow. I don't want to say goodbye, but I will schedule another live stream, and I'll probably schedule it for next week because we do have some catching up to do. And cards are fun. So if you haven't joined me in the card making, in the these little cards, please grab yourself. Remember, treat yourself. Don't grab those 50-cent index cards. Please step away. Friends, do not let friends buy the cheapy index cards. Heavy duty index cards. If you really want to have cards that will last, archival level cards, if you want to use index cards. If not, you can always, scrapbook paper too. Or you can make your own cards. You can just take your scrapbook paper, like the heavy duty, like if you've got just regular plain white paper. I'm sorry, I'm not saying any of the right things. You know how we have like the white scrapbook, like the cardstock type paper in our arsenals? Many of us do. Cut it up into 3x5s. Mix that in with your index cards because it's nice to have a buffet of options. It's nice to have like just a mixture of things, diversity in your cards, different types of papers, mix and mingle, right? They're extrovert cards, right? Not introvert cards, extrovert. They like to mix, they like to mingle. So also face cam. Face cam, everybody. Back on the face cam. So it was a lot of fun, and I appreciate your little faces showing up. And oh my gosh, Bonnie, Thank you for the fall emojis. They're just, they're eye candy. That's all I keep thinking is I can't wait till fall. I can't wait. There's no time like fall. I can't wait till fall. I've never ever wanted to see fall as badly in my whole life. So, anyway, I will be scheduling another one. I'll be sending out a newsletter with the link to this replay and letting people know, hey, I've been working on some secret projects and I sneaked them. And so please sign up for my newsletter. The link is in the description of this live stream, in my last live stream. If you are not on my newsletter, that's the way that I keep in touch with you. And anyone can tell you I'm not a newsletter sender. I don't send you something unless there's something worth telling you. I don't bug you. I don't pester you. Trust me. I sign up for some people's newsletters and they will send me stuff every day, every other day, 2 or 3 times a week. That's too much contact. Okay? I'm not like that. I'm your considerate friend. Considerate friend. So, anyway, but maybe I should reach out more often. So anyway, I love your little faces, and right, that's Celia. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been thinking. So I think this summer it's like let's just craft. We're doing it. We're doing crafty things, but I'm easing you into something really fun for the cool season. Okay? I'm just keeping you warm. Your creative like flow, keeping you warm and on simmer for stuff ahead. You get what I'm saying? There's the high sign. All right. The gold scissors have spoken. The gold scissor brigade. Huzzah. All right. I love you guys. Enough silliness. Okay. There you go. Don't want to say too much. Don't want to say too much. Okay. I love your faces, you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day, the rest of your weekend. I will see you soon. Look for my post, my schedule, because I will be posting as soon as we've tested the temperature and like when can I do it, and then I will make a decision, and maybe I'll just be super glowy and shiny and panting so that more people can attend. Maybe I'll take one for the team. So I love you guys. Mwah. Bye everybody. Goodbye. 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 Now, how do I say goodbye? Goodbye. It's not like that. I don't know how to say goodbye because I forget. That's not it. Where's my... Oh my gosh. I can't remember how to say goodbye. Okay. I think this is it. All right. I love you guys.